Right now, somewhere in your pocket or on the table beside you, your phone is quiet. And you already want to check it. You haven't heard a buzz. You haven't seen a light. But some part of you is running the numbers anyway. Why? The obvious answer is that phones are addictive by design. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain isn't reacting to a notification. It's reacting to something that existed long before screens, long before electricity, long before humans even looked the way you do now. Picture your ancestors on the savannah, 60,000 years ago. No phones, no screens, just tall grass, a wide sky, and a nervous system built entirely around one question. Is something out there? A rustle in the grass could be wind, or it could be a predator. Your ancestors who checked, who scanned, who stayed alert to uncertainty, survived more often than the ones who didn't. The ones who ignored the rustle didn't get a second chance to learn from their mistake. That single habit, checking the uncertain thing, got carved into your brain over thousands of generations. Not as a preference, as a survival reflex. And here's the twist. Your brain doesn't actually care whether the uncertain thing is a predator or a text message. It just cares that it's uncertain. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran a simple experiment with pigeons. He gave them a lever. Sometimes pressing it produced a food pellet. Sometimes it didn't. There was no pattern the pigeons could predict, and something unexpected happened. The pigeons pressed that lever far more obsessively than the ones who got a pellet every single time. Certainty made them calm. Uncertainty made them frantic. Skinner called this a variable reward schedule. You might recognize it by a different name, a slot machine, or the pull to refresh gesture on your phone. Your phone doesn't reward you every time you check it. Sometimes there's a message. Sometimes there's nothing. That inconsistency isn't a flaw in the system. It's the entire engine. Your brain treats an unpredictable phone exactly like your ancestors' brain treated an unpredictable rustle in the grass. Worth checking. Every time, just in case. But there's a second layer to this, and it lives deeper than habit. It lives in chemistry. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz studied dopamine in the brains of monkeys. For decades, scientists assumed dopamine was the chemical of pleasure, the reward you feel after something good happens. Schultz found something different. Dopamine didn't spike when the monkeys received a reward they expected. It spiked in anticipation, right before the outcome, during the uncertain moment when they didn't yet know what would happen. Dopamine, it turns out, isn't the chemical of getting. It's the chemical of maybe. Your brain releases it not when you read the message, but in the second before you look at the screen. That half second of not knowing is the most chemically active moment of the entire interaction. By the time you actually see what's there, the peak has already passed, which is why checking your phone rarely feels as satisfying as the urge to check it did. Now think about why any of this mattered for survival in the first place. Uncertainty, for your ancestors, was almost always social. Did the tribe still trust you? Did something change while you were away from the group? Humans are not built to survive alone. You are built to survive inside a network of people who share food, share warnings, and share information. An anthropologist named Robin Dunbar spent years studying primates and human social groups, and he found something remarkable. Grooming, the act of picking through fur, wasn't primarily about hygiene for our primate relatives. It was about maintaining alliances. It was social information, delivered through touch instead of words. Humans replaced grooming with something more efficient. Talking. Gossip, in Dunbar's research, isn't a character flaw. It's the human equivalent of grooming, a way of constantly updating your mental map of who's doing what, who's trustworthy, and where you stand in the group. And your phone, notice, is mostly a gossip machine now. Who liked what? Who said what? Who's doing better than you? Who's doing worse? Every scroll is a Savannah-era mind checking its social standing at superhuman speed. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Your phone did not invent this hunger. It simply found the oldest, most reliable trigger in your nervous system, and it learned to pull it thousands of times a day. Every notification is a modern rustle in the grass. Every unread badge is an unresolved uncertainty your ancestors' brains were built to chase down immediately. You are not weak for checking your phone 40, 80, 100 times a day. You are running software that is nearly perfectly tuned to a brain built for a completely different world. So, what happens to a nervous system built for occasional uncertainty when it's fed constant uncertainty instead? Something has to give. Researchers studying attention and stress have found that this kind of persistent low-grade vigilance, the kind that never fully resolves, keeps the body in a mild but continuous state of alert. Not panic, just a background hum of unfinished business. Your ancestors' alert system was built to spike, resolve, and return to rest. Yours rarely gets the chance to return to rest at all. You might wonder whether you can simply out-willpower this. Most people try. Most people fail, not because they lack discipline, but because they're fighting a reflex that evolution spent tens of thousands of years perfecting. Willpower is a poor match for instinct. What actually works, according to the same research, isn't more self-control. It's changing the uncertainty itself. Turning off notifications doesn't remove the urge because you're stronger. It removes the urge because there's no unpredictable rustle left to react to. No variable reward. No dopamine spike waiting in ambush. Consider what this means about the moments you feel most anxious without your phone nearby. That isn't really about the phone. It's the same feeling your ancestors would have had walking through unfamiliar territory without knowing what was out there. Disconnected, exposed, uninformed. Your body doesn't know the difference between missing a warning about a predator and missing a text from a friend. It registers both the same way. Unresolved. Unsafe, unfinished. And maybe that's the strangest part of all. The device in your hand feels like the most modern object you own. But the urge to check it is one of the oldest things about you. Older than agriculture. Older than language in some ways. It's the same circuitry that once kept a small, vulnerable primate alive on an open plain, now aimed at a glowing rectangle that never stops producing new uncertainty to resolve. There's another piece of this that most people never consider. Your ancestors didn't just react to uncertainty, they were rewarded for sharing what they found. A person who spotted danger first and warned the group gained status. A person who noticed something useful, a new water source, a change in the herd's migration, became someone worth listening to. Information wasn't just protective, it was currency. The first to know mattered. The first to tell mattered more. Your phone quietly taps into that exact incentive. Posting something isn't just expression, it's an ancient bid for status, dressed in a new outfit. Every like is a small signal that your information was worth having. Every share is someone else deciding you were the one who noticed something first. You don't consciously think about any of this. You don't need to. The reward loop runs far below conscious thought, in the same place that once decided whether a warning call was worth making. This helps explain something curious. Why does bad news travel faster than good news? Why do you check the news more during a crisis than during calm? A psychologist studying threat detection would tell you this isn't a coincidence, and it isn't a media conspiracy either. Negative information, historically, was simply more urgent to have. Missing a threat could cost you your life. Missing good news rarely did. So your attention evolved an asymmetry. Bad news pulls harder, not because you're pessimistic, because for most of human history, bad news was the news that mattered most to act on quickly. Now stretch that asymmetry across a device that delivers unlimited bad news, 24 hours a day from every corner of the planet, most of which you can do absolutely nothing about. Your ancestors' threat system was built for a village of maybe 150 people, a number Dunbar's research also points to as roughly the natural ceiling for relationships a human brain can meaningfully track. Your phone connects you to millions. It floods a system built for 150 with the emotional weight of the entire world. No wonder it feels heavy. It was never supposed to hold this much. There's a reason this matters beyond curiosity. Understanding where the pull comes from changes what you can actually do about it. You cannot reason your way out of a reflex. You can only change what the reflex is reacting to. That's why willpower alone so rarely works, and why small structural changes, turning off notifications, leaving the phone in another room, graying out the screen so it stops looking like a slot machine, tend to work far better than promises to yourself. You are not trying to become a stronger person. You are trying to remove the rustle in the grass. Think, for a moment, about what silence used to mean. For most of human history, a quiet moment wasn't empty. It was full of small, ambient information: wind, animal calls, the specific quality of light through leaves, the presence of other people nearby without needing to speak. Silence was never actually silent. It was simply unhurried. Today, silence without your phone can feel like something is missing, precisely because your nervous system has been trained to associate stillness with the possibility of unresolved danger rather than the presence of it. You've inherited a brain that distrusts calm, because for most of its evolutionary history, calm rarely lasted long enough to be trusted. None of this means the pull is permanent or that you're powerless against it. It means the fight is different than you thought. You're not battling a character flaw. You're negotiating with a very old, very effective survival system that simply doesn't know it's being exploited. Once you see the rustle in the grass for what it is, a notification, a badge, a red dot promising information that may or may not matter, it starts to lose some of its grip. Not all at once, but enough to notice, enough to choose occasionally, to leave the lever unpressed and let the uncertainty pass without chasing it. So tonight, when your phone is quiet on the table beside you and you feel that small pull to check it anyway, you'll know what's actually happening. It's not weakness. It's not addiction in the way you've been told to think about it. It's a survival instinct, still doing its job, just pointed at the wrong kind of danger.